Welcome in to another episode of Building the Pride. I am your host, Drew, flying solo tonight, as my co-host Mike is off doing a conference somewhere, Chicago or Wisconsin, Midwest. So today, hopefully, we'll try and keep this to an hour. We've got some training camp stuff to talk about. There's some other news and notes from around the NFL. So let's get to it. Mike usually does all the banners, so I'll have to do that for him. And yeah, there it is. There it is. So we're going to kick off today's show with this story that happened over the weekend, I believe. Let's see. I don't know exactly when this took place, but it took place in New York City. I think it was yesterday. I think it was Monday. It was in New York, and a gunman killed 4 people at a Manhattan office building and then killed himself. And now it looks like this guy, whose name is Shane Tamura, a 27-year-old guy from Las Vegas, was trying to get into the NFL offices in the building, but he went to the wrong bank of elevators and ended up in a different part of the building. So that's kind of strange. Now, apparently, he has a grudge against the NFL because he believes that he has CTE, which can only be, I believe, diagnosed or confirmed after you've passed away. And he had a 3-page note on him outlining his thoughts that his problems, apparently he has a history of mental illness, were caused by CTE that he got from playing football when he was a kid, basically like in grade school. Never played in the NFL. Don't believe he ever worked for the NFL. Holds them responsible for the way that he turned out in life, I suppose. Pretty remarkable stuff. Unfortunately, 5 people died as a result of his mental illness. So just a real definition of a tragedy as far as I am concerned. None of these people needed to die. Let's see. So the note had a ton of stuff in it about, and it was the article that I'm reading on ESPN said that it was rambling in its tone. So I don't know, just upsetting to me, this kind of stuff. I don't like it. So let's move on, shall we? Training camp is well underway for most of the NFL. Let's talk about contract holdouts. So we had some big money deals. Rashawn Slater, the left tackle from the LA Chargers. LA Chargers? San Diego Chargers? LA Chargers. Got a big deal. Who else got a big deal? The Colts. Is it Brett? Bernard Raymond signed a 4-year, $100 million deal. Remember, this is the same kind of contract that Jared Goff was extended by the Rams, 4 years, $100 million. And now I would call him like a above average tier tackle in the NFL. They're getting that same deal. How far we've come. And so we have people who want new deals. Most notably Terry McLaurin from the Washington Commanders. And I think that he could be in line for like $30 million a year. Hey, guys. Hey, Mike. Looking at our projected 53-man roster, man, our roster is insane, but our edge room, I just hate. Hope they sign someone, but I doubt it. Let's put that up there. Well, let's talk about it, Zikla. Let's see. Who is this guy? Justin Rogers from Detroit Football Network put out his projected 53-man roster. So let me see if I can share this. Mike's usually the guy that runs all this stuff. Share screen. Justin Rogers. Share. Go back to the StreamYard. Put it on the thing. Yell at Mike to make it bigger. Mike isn't here. You have to do it yourself. You can't make it bigger because it's a fucking image on a... All you can make bigger is the comment section for no good reason. All right, I'll read it to you. Wide receiver. So this is wide receiver Y, Z. Jameson Williams. His backups right now are Khalif Raymond, Ronnie Bell, Jacoby Keeney James. Remember, this is the 90-man roster. Slot receiver, Amon-Ra St. Brown, backed up by Tom Kennedy, the Lions practice squad loyalist, and Dominique Lovett for one of our 7th-round picks from Georgia. Left tackle, we have Taylor Decker, who is currently working through an injury. Dan Skipper, who's the 6th tackle, or 3rd tackle, however you want to say it. 6th offensive lineman, 3rd tackle. And then Giovanni Manu, the project. Left guard, Christian Mahogany's penciled in as a starter, backed up by Natani Moody, then Michael Neese, and then Miles Frazier, who is also hurt and working through a camp injury. At center, Graham Glasgow has taken over the majority of the snaps at this point in training camp. He's backed up by Kingsley Aguyakun and Tristan Colon, or Cologne, maybe that's how you say it. Cologne, I don't know. Right guard, Tate Ratledge, backed up by Coyote Awashika. We know that name. And Corby Sorsdal, who has now been moved from tackle to interior offensive line. Right tackle, Penny Sewell, clearly. Jamarco Jones and Mason Miller. Tight end, we have Sam Laporta, Brock Wright, no surprises. Shane Zielstra, no surprise. And then Kenny Yaboa, who we signed in the offseason, and Zach Horton, who looks like a UDFA. Wide receiver X, Tim Patrick, backed up by Isaac Tesla, Jackson Meeks, and Malik Taylor. QB, Jared Goff, Hendon Hooker, Kyle Allen. Running back, David Montgomery, Jahmyr Gibbs. Those are both starters. There's really no distinction between them. Craig Reynolds and Sione Vaki. And then we also have Kai Robichaud, Jabari Small, and Jacob Sailors in camp. And that is the offense. They really love Davenport, praying he stays healthy. I also love Davenport, and I am also praying that he stays healthy. So let's do the defense right now. Edge, we have Aiden Hutchinson, Mitchell Aguda, Al-Qadim Muhammad. I think these two guys should be switched. Nate Lynn is 4th string. DL, Ali McNeil, he's hurt. So Tyleek Williams is now the presumed starter. Makai Wingo, who's also hurt. Miles Adams, who was on the team after he was signed from the Seahawks, I believe, last year. And Keith Cooper Jr. These are the 3 techs. And then at nose tackle, they have DJ Reader, Roy Lopez, who they signed from the Cardinals, Pat O'Connor, Chris Smith, Raekwon Williams, and Broderick Martin. I think Broderick Martin is not going to make it out of camp on the roster. I don't think that he makes the 53-man roster. The other edge, big edge, we have Marcus Davenport, Josh Paschal, who's also hurt and might start the season on like the 4-game NFI list. Ahmad Hassanein and Isaac Ukwu. Middle linebacker, we got Jack Campbell, Derek Barnes, Zach Cunningham, and then Anthony Pittman and Ezekiel Turner. Pittman and Turner are very clearly special teams only guys. Weak side linebacker, of course, Anzalone, Grant Stewart, Malcolm Rodriguez, who was hurt, Trevor Nowaski, and Deron Gilbert. They have this. He has this set up as a base nickel defense which is interesting because the Lions spent more time in base last year than almost any team in the NFL. We'll talk about that in a second, Mike. I'll get to that question. That's a good one. Nickel linebacker, we've got Amik Robertson and Avonte Maddox. CB, DJ Reed, Ennis Rakestraw Jr., Rock Yasin, and Nick Whiteside. Corner, we have Terrion Arnold, who left today's practice with a hamstring injury, which is not good. Khalil Dorsey is his primary backup. He is also hurt. And then we have DiCaprio Boodle, which is just one of maybe the greatest names I've ever heard in my life. And Tyson Russell. Those are just camp bodies. Safety, we have Brian Branch, Dan Jackson, Lauren Strickland, Eric Hallett. The other safety spot, free safety, Kirby Joseph, Maurice Norris, and Ian Kennelly. And the kicker is obviously Jake Bates. I haven't heard about them bringing in another kicker to compete with him. Jack Fox, Hogan Hatton is your long snapper. Punt returner, kick returner, Khalif Raymond. He's an all-pro. That makes a lot of sense. So let's see. Stop. Okay, my face is bigger. This is excellent. I think that's a pretty accurate depth chart. That's really close to what I thought the depth chart would look like heading into week one. Maybe, at least through the starters and the backups. I don't know about like starting third string. I'm not exactly sure how much you can really project there. Like, you got to know how many people they're going to carry at each position group. And that gets to be kind of dicey. But if Davenport can stay healthy, and like, I don't even know that we really need, like, if you got 10 games out of him, I'd be thrilled, so like, he doesn't need to be 17 games healthy. He just needs to be available, to play some kind of rotation over there. And I'd be stoked. How quickly does Tesla pass Patrick as wide receiver 3? I don't think it's this season. I think that they will. The Lions with their rookies, especially after they had a core group that was developing as the pillars of the team, like to bring some certain guys along, right? So like Tesla is a 3rd round pick. Martin was a 3rd round pick. I think that you give guys like that. I think they re-signed Tim Patrick so that a guy like Isaac Tesla has a year to sit. Now, that's assuming that both of these guys are healthy. If Patrick were to get hurt, then I think that Tesla would probably be the guy that comes in. However, I think the other thing that would curtail Tesla getting snaps and like meaning in-game snaps is that if the Lions decide they want to play 21 personnel, so two wide receivers, a tight end, and 2 running backs, if they decide they want to do that, then neither Tesla or Tim Patrick is on the field because you're not taking Jameson Williams off the field unless it's like 3rd and 1 and you want all of Tim Patrick's 6'3", 200+ pound frame on the field to block, which is what he is really good at. So I'm going to stick with a prediction of Tim Patrick's been in this offense now. This is his 2nd year, first full off season. And you give a guy like Tesla coming from, was it Arkansas or Central Arkansas, to the NFL a chance to let the game slow down, get familiar with the offense, develop a rapport with the other offensive players, learn the playbook, see what the season's like. And then going into year 2, Tim Patrick's contract will be up. He will probably be allowed to go seek another deal in free agency. And then Tesla is your presumed starter 2026. Well, so like the thing about Puka Nacua is I don't really know that he was, quote unquote, that big of a surprise when he burst out on the scene. I don't think anybody thought he'd be up at the top of the league as far as production is concerned. But the only reason that he fell to the 5th round coming out of BYU, I believe, was that he was hurt. He had injuries. He had multiple injuries at BYU, and there were just concerns about his durability. And I don't know that I don't remember if he's missed time yet in the NFL, but he's certainly one of the more productive receivers in the league. But like, I don't think that Tesla is. I don't think it's a comparable situation, because you had very little missed time. Okay. Tesla has to wait behind the following people for snaps and targets: St. Brown, Sam Laporta, Jamison Williams, Jahmyr Gibbs, and then they're going to hand the ball off to David Montgomery some amount of the time. So as far as I can tell, he is the 5th option on a relatively prolific offense. And the 5th option doesn't typically break out. I don't know. Like, he could have some highlight moments. He certainly made some highlight catches in camp. Now that is also he's also playing against like 3rd and 4th string camp bodies without pads on. And he's big. He's 6'3". So the potential is there for sure. But like, I also think this is more of like a Jack Campbell situation, where it's like, here you go, like, we're going to ease you in, and then we'll see a big leap in year 2, and then like, do we see a bigger leap in year 3? Like, that kind of, like, the kind of production that I think that we should be looking for are from guys like Campbell, Terry and Arnold, Gibbs even. How well does Mahogany play? Or does Ratledge play as interior offensive lineman to start the season? Like, I think that there is the potential for a lot of players on the Lions to get really good, but like, the type of people that are going to take a step forward in their play are the guys going into like year 2 and year 3. And I'm excited to see Tesla play, but I think most of the chances I'll get to watch him play are going to be in the preseason. So we'll just have to see. And of course, that'll probably be with Hendon Hooker or Kyle Allen throwing him the ball. So not exactly Jared Goff by any stretch of the imagination. But it should be fun. I'm really looking forward to it. So what else we got? Let's check what's going on. The Browns lost a cornerback, defensive back, Martin Emerson, to Achilles tear. Isaiah Likely is going to miss some time with an ankle injury in Baltimore. Tyler Guyton, the 2nd-year tackle for the Cowboys, could very well have missed the season with a knee injury. So we are seeing some camp attrition take place already. And the Lions obviously are not immune to that. They have lost Levi Muzarike. Terrion Arnold came up injured with a hamstring, and my problem with hamstrings are they're soft tissue injuries, and they persist and they persist and they persist. Kirby Joseph has not practiced for the 3rd straight day. So this is the Lions injury list as of today's practice. Terrion Arnold got hurt today. We'll have to see how bad it is. Taylor Decker is working back from his shoulder thing. Miles Frazier, their 5th-round interior offensive lineman, is dealing with some type of injury. I'm not exactly sure what he is dealing with, but it looks like he might miss some time. Aleem McNeil obviously might be lost for most of the season. Mekhi Wingo, we'll have to see when he is coming back from His ACL looks like he's probably going to be on the PUP list. Josh Paschal is dealing with something. Let's see what he says here. Campbell said today of Paschal, I think we're hoping early September. We get him in practice, and I think he's going to need a couple of weeks to practice before we can expect him to play for us. So mid-September, late September, possibly early October. He says he's on schedule to early September to start practicing. So if that's the case, so August, September, he will probably not play in the first several games, which makes it entirely possible that he starts the season on NFI and just misses 4 games, which will open a roster spot. But, here we go again. Defensive injuries, right? Amik Robertson and Kirby Joseph did not practicing. Kirby has some kind of knee injury. Campbell said it's not major. We just had a little bit of knee irritation. He'll be good. We're just hoping to get him back this coming Saturday. No update on Amik. He's indicated during his media sessions that he's not worried about his injury. I'm assuming this is the broken arm that he suffered when Jack Campbell hit him last year in the playoffs. Sione Vaki, Al-Quadin Muhammad, Ennis Rakestraw, and safety Ian Kennelly were all limited in practice. Of those, Ennis Rakestraw is the one that I'm worried about. He had like a chest injury, and then I believe he also has a hamstring, which is just not good when you're a defensive back. And then Anzalone and DJ Reed both came back from injuries and are now playing with apparently no restrictions. So, which is weird because Alec Anzalone has a hamstring injury, according to him, amidst his contract dispute with the club. So weird to see how quickly he got back to practice with no restrictions. Shocking. I'm so shocked that his hamstring just cleared up. So really strange how that happened. Almost like it wasn't a real problem. So good news. I mean, like the Lions have some injuries. But, I mean, it looks like Aiden Hutchinson is back. Jeremy Reisman from Pride of Detroit said that he looks exactly like he did before he got hurt. So hopefully that continues into the season and he is no restrictions, no hang-ups, no hope of re-injury, that kind of thing. I just, and like from everything that I've heard based upon, like I did some checking today on like training camp standouts. Like Brian Branch just looks like he is all over the field. Like he is just nonstop around the ball, both he and Jack Campbell. So if there at my new job, there's a lot of people who are super down on the Lions, like because what's the guy's name? Zeitler left, Ragnow retired. Woe is us. What are we going to do? And I'm still extremely confident in this Lions team. Like, if you are telling me, if you're telling me that the Lions come out and they start playing 21 personnel, so 2 wide receivers, a tight end, and 2 running backs. If you're telling me that they line up 2 running backs in the backfield and then they flex out Gibbs to whatever side they want where they think that they have an advantage, I don't know. I really just don't know how teams stop that. I mean, I think it's going to force a ton of teams into zone. And I think it's going to force a lot of teams to play either base defense, which will let the Lions throw on them. Like, go ahead and play base against a bunch of skill position players like Amon-Ra St. Brown, Sam Laporta, Jameson Williams, Jahmyr Gibbs, and David Montgomery. Like, go ahead. With that offensive line, I mean, like, that offensive line still has Taylor Decker and Penei Sewell anchoring it. And, I mean, like, I know people aren't a huge fan of Graham Glasgow, but, like, the dude knows what's going on in the offense. And you have 2 young, really good, I think, interior offensive linemen in Mahogany and Ratledge. Like, if Mahogany and Ratledge just don't make mistakes this season, and like Mahogany was excellent last year, and all you got to do is get that guy lined up in the right spot, and I think that he'll be great. So I don't know. I think this team is extremely well coached. I think there's a lot of talent. I'm not too worried about the coordinator thing. Like, Kelvin Shepard's been here since day one of this regime. Is it John Morton? Is that the guy's name? Yeah, John Morton. John Morton has been with this team before, left and came back, and like he said, like, if it's not broke, don't fix it. So, I mean, I don't think that the offense is going to look that much different at all from what we're used to seeing, for for the bad game or two he has a year, like, Jared Goff's a really good quarterback. I mean, like, I don't think that he can beat better quarterbacks than him, but like, I still think that he's an excellent quarterback. So, I mean, I just think that the Lions are in such a good spot. Such a good spot. So, all right, I want to do a mock draft. Oh, we can already do 5-round mock drafts. Neat. All right. The reason why I want to do a mock draft is A, Mike's not here. B, I love them. And I want to start learning some of the names for this upcoming season. All right, so let's see. We want to slow this down a little bit. I want to share my screen, select that, share it, go back, add it to the stage. Then I want to make it bigger because I always yell at Mike. And this is the ritual that we do. All right, so once again, these are the odds. The draft order at this time of year is decided by Super Bowl odds from Vegas. If you have a better way of doing it, I'd love to hear it. It doesn't matter to me. We're just looking for a couple people to stay on the board. Stay on the board. Okay, there's one gone. Okay. So there's a couple of, let's just go through the top of the board here and talk about stuff. So New York, the Giants are at 1. That's fine. They take Peter Woods, defensive lineman from Clemson. I cannot see this happening. I mean, maybe if it's a guy that you can play next to Dexter Lawrence, then okay. But like, that is such an unbelievable investment in the defensive line that I'm almost starting to think that like you're neglecting other parts of your team by doing it. But they do have a rookie quarterback. They do have an electrifying wide receiver in Neighbors. So I could see them just going best player available. Then we have the Browns. They draft Arch Manning. That would be a no-brainer to me if like it's a Heisman winning season for him. They go on to win the national championship. And then he basically says, okay, I want to go and declare. Like that, I could see him doing that. The scuttlebutt from the league is that they anticipate him returning to college. So this would be his first season as the full-time starter at Texas. Texas is absolutely on top of the world right now in college football. They are recruiting extremely well. They're stacked. Their roster is absolutely stacked. Like, he might win 2 Heismans and 2 national titles, and we might have back-to-back Texas national championships this upcoming season and next season, or the season after that. So he has a chance to do something that not a lot of people do in college football. Plus, he's got to be, I think he's the highest paid NIL player in the country, which makes a lot of sense. So I'd be surprised if he declared, but who knows? We'll have to see. Tennessee goes TJ Parker, edge from Clemson. Clemson has a really stacked defensive line this year. Jets take Caleb Downs, safety. That would be a great pick for them, I think. Saints. Oh, by the way, like, I don't want to hear anything about Dylan Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders preventing the Browns from taking a quarterback like Arch Manning if somebody like that was here at 2 and they're drafting at 2. Like, I just don't care about those other guys. The Saints take Cade Klubnik, which would mean that their quarterback this year, Tyler Schloff, I don't know how to say his name, it's gross, would probably have to take a back seat. I wouldn't mind exploring a trade for him if the Lions were so inclined to start adding young quarterbacks to the roster. That makes a lot of sense for them. I don't know. New Orleans might be the worst team in the NFL, to be honest. Let's see, the Panthers taking Caden Proctor. I don't like Caden Proctor, okay? And I'll tell you why I don't like Caden Proctor. Caden Proctor is from Iowa, okay? And he committed to Iowa. And then Alabama flipped him. That's fine. That's just college football recruiting. I don't have a problem with it. Here's what I have a problem with. He played his freshman season at Alabama and transferred back to Iowa. Iowa gave him like a $100,000 NIL deal, and he took that money, and then he immediately transferred back to Alabama. And it's just theft. He just stole $100,000 from Iowa. I just have no tolerance for it whatsoever. Now, the Panthers taking him, this likely means that either Tyler Moton is moving on or they're I can't now remember the guy's name that they drafted a couple years ago to play left tackle. But one of those two guys isn't working out. Francis M. Tackle from University of Miami to the Raiders. Hard to argue with an investment in the offensive line. Jermod McCoy from Tennessee to the Colts. That seems like a odd pick. Spencer Fano, tackle from Utah to the Cowboys, which might need something. I have a hard time believing that they are going to take somebody from Utah when the next guy is from Texas. They just love to draft Texas players so much. The Jags, or if the Browns use the pick they got in the Jacksonville trade this last draft to take a linebacker, I will freak out. I mean, this kid has got a ton of hype. And just tell me the last linebacker, the last off-ball linebacker, not an edge rusher, who went top 10 in the NFL who has made like a real difference. Because it's not Fred Warner. I don't remember where Roquan Smith got taken. But those are the best linebackers in the NFL. And they're coverage linebackers. Like Anthony Hill could be a coverage linebacker. But I mean, like, if you're going to take that at 10, you should be in better shape than the Cleveland Browns. And like the Cleveland Browns have their offensive line is really bad, and there are offensive linemen to take here. Okay, so Seattle taking Jeremiah Love. Well, then are you losing like Kenneth Walker or Zach Charbonnet and then replacing them with this guy? This guy's a 1. So like, if you're going to do that, I mean, like, I understand that this is early, but this is just, if that's who you're taking, you deserve to not be good. Ruben Bain to the Patriots edge. Okay. The Rams have a couple of picks in the first round. Avian Terrell, cornerback. Clemson. Once again, Clemson's pretty stacked on defense this year. Jordan Tyson, wide receiver, Arizona State to the Steelers. Okay. This is the kid that I'm starting to target. For the Lions, Jake Slaughter, 6'4", 308 pounds, so pretty light for a center. Really, really good. Hopefully he stays good this year at college. Dylan Tieneman, safety from Oregon. I think this is the kid that transferred from Purdue, so he's really worth watching. Keldrick Falk, edge from Auburn to the Cardinals. LT Overton, edge to from Bama to the Minnesota Vikings. Eric Singleton, wide receiver Auburn to the Broncos. Like, this is starting to read like what these teams should have done or did do this last draft. Malik Muhammad, corner, Texas to the Texans. There you go. Staying at home. Tyreek Sapp, edge, Florida to the Packers. This is another kid that I would really like to see the Lions take a look at. 6'2", 274. Good scores the last 2 years. I think he's also like, when I looked him up, he's like 275 or 280. Torian York, linebacker, Texas A&M to the who are these guys? The Buccaneers. Deontay Lawson, linebacker, Alabama to the Chargers. AJ Harris, corner, Penn State to the Commanders. Mikhail Kamara, edge from Indiana to the Bengals. That should be a really good pick. This is another kid that I'd really like to have on the Lions. Armaj Reed Adams, guard, Texas A&M to the Rams. They could really use him, but like if Tate Ratledge is your center of the future, then you have a new right guard, position open up. Like this would be an excellent slot there. So then we get to the Lions pick. We're at 27. Here's what the board looks like. Drew Aller, Penn State, Garrett Nussmeier, LSU, Sam Levitt, quarterback, Danny Denton Smith, 6'5", 265. So he's probably not this big. But this is the kind of guy that you want across from Aiden Hutchinson. So I would really like this. I would really like Danny Denton Smith. But the kid I'm taking, if this is my board and I'm the GM, I'm taking Drew Aller from Penn State. I think that kid is going to be a top 10 quarterback in the NFL. I might as well put him on the roster. But Drew, the Lions don't need a quarterback. Yeah, I hear it. But they will eventually need a quarterback. Oh, wow. They really dropped Lenore Snellers. Connor Lew, let's take a look. 6'3", 300, still light. Can he put on weight? 66 grade, 75 grade, so that's a 9-point jump. Let's see. Give up 1 sack. He's played his entire career at center for Auburn, so he's an option. Parker Brailsford, this is another like skinny center, 6'2", 290. Jaden Robbins, Christian Miller, Antonio Williams, Rayshawn Berry, Jack Endries. Whit Weeks, let's take a look. 6'2", 225. That's a safety. Tackles, assisted tackles. This would be weak side linebacker is certainly a. Oh, really? There's no way that this kid ends up a second round pick. First of all, I don't think he comes out this season. You should go look up Nick Harbor highlights. If there's anyone listening to me at this point, go look up Nick Harbor highlights from high school. He is 6'5", 235. Michigan recruited him to be a defensive end. And South Carolina said, no, you can play wide receiver, so he went there. Plus, I believe that he's also from South Carolina. And this kid runs the 100 meters like his hair is on fire. It's ridiculous. He is an unbelievable athlete. Like, I would consider taking him here just because he's such an unbelievable athlete. Who else? Anybody? Okay, Trent Allen. This is certainly a guy that I thought would go in the day 2 this last year if he wanted to come out. Dante Corleone. 6'1", 325. This could be if Tyleik Williams is going to play 3-tech this year with the plan for him to take over from DJ Reader. I think that if you added this guy into the mix as a strict nose tackle, then you would have a rookie nose tackle, Tyleik Williams, who can play either nose tackle or 3-tech, and a Lee McNeil, who can play nose tackle or 3-tech, as your rotation of interior defensive linemen, and that is scary. McNeil's already been extended, just drafted Tyleik, so you're going to get 3 years of him on a rookie deal. If you add one more guy into the mix, you might really have some depth now on the interior. So I think that's an interesting thing. But he is the 80th player on the board, or just about. So I'm not gonna do that. Oh, Harold Perkins is all the way down here. You poor kid. Okay, well, let's just do this. I'm going to take Connor Lew from Auburn, the highest rated player on the board and at a position of need, in my opinion. But I really don't think, I mean, like, I have edge opposite Aiden Hutchinson and interior offensive lineman as the two needs that Detroit has most. Oh, yeah, we don't have a third round pick this year because we traded it to move up for Tesla. Right. Yeah, so I'm going to draft. So in this draft, I took quarterback of the future, interior offensive lineman potentially of the future. So what do? Do you go something like, if this is your draft, you would sit Aller next year? Let's take a look at over the cap real quick. Hang on. Yeah. And let's just, oh yeah, Shamar Stewart got signed. I'll talk about that in a second. Ooh, Lions now have second most cap space in the league behind the Patriots. Nice. Okay, so what am I looking up? Jared Goff. Jared Goff, 2025, has a cap hit of 32.6. Next year, his cap hit is 69.6 million. You almost certainly have to restructure him to stay under the cap. And then after 2026, there's no more guaranteed money on his deal. So he then counts for 54 against the cap and then 61 against the cap. So like 2027, you can cut Jared Goff, quote unquote, cut, for you lose $1 in dead money for every cap dollar that you save, basically. But, and I don't think that they're going to do that, but that would be his age 33 season. Certainly not the kind of like the age that you have to get rid of a quarterback that's playing well anymore in the NFL. But this would be, how long does he play for Detroit? 1, 2, 3. This will be what, his 5th year in Detroit? 4th year in Detroit? So he'll be 10 years into the league by this point. Yeah, because he was the number 1 pick in 2016. So you have to have some kind of plan, unless you're just going to continue to pay Jared Goff this kind of money, And if you want to keep the same kind of cap flexibility the Lions have enjoyed in their rebuild, which may not be possible, you have to get a rookie on a rookie quarterback on a that type of contract. It's just the most valuable asset in the NFL. Drew Aller is like 6'5", 240. He's probably smaller than that. I wouldn't be surprised if he was 6'3" and change and like 225, 230. That still makes him one of the biggest quarterbacks in the NFL. And like you put him with that offensive line, those skill position players, a young team with good foundation. I mean, that is the like continuity at ownership, GM, head coach. That is the kind of situation that a rookie quarterback or a second year quarterback can go into and be successful in the short term, even if you sit them. So I really like this move. If Drew Aller was on the board at 27 and I was the GM of the Lions, I would just go take him. Of course, I've been also saying this now since 2022 that I would basically draft quarterbacks. Oh yeah, I don't think he'll be there at 27 either. You're lucky to get Carson back. I'm not taking Carson back at 27. How you doing, Kenny? Connor Lew, I don't know anything about this kid. I just know he plays for Auburn and he plays center. You could just insert any decent second day interior offensive lineman at this position. I'd be equally happy. I also don't think guys like Corby Sorsdal, Broderick Martin are going to be on the team. What's up, man? How you been? You guys going to pay Juwan Jennings? A player that I wanted very much a couple of years ago, if they were going to re-sign Debo and extend Ayuk, I thought, oh, this would be nice to get like Jennings out of San Francisco over here in Detroit. That'd be pretty cool. And now he's one of their better wide receivers. Hey, Kenny, how did you feel about your almost all defensive draft? Because it just seems like you guys took Michael Williams, right, and Alfred Collins, and I was like, oh man, these are picks that I would have loved the Lions to have made at those spots. Of course, Michael wasn't on the board for us when we were picking, and you guys snagged him right up the first chance you got. What's the 5.0? Is that the 40 time? I don't care about 40 times. For 6'3", 302. I mean, centers are getting quite light. 290 to 300, 310. It seems to be about the average size of a top collegiate center prospect. I think a lot of teams are interested in Michael Williams. Yeah. So, I think you guys are really smart to get him. And I think Alfred Collins will be good. Will be a good interior guy for you as well. I really liked him as well. So yeah, I really liked your draft this year. Too bad that you guys lost a lot of guys off your. I believe you guys lost a bunch of free agents this offseason. But I think that will just have you just load up on comp picks. Oh, I don't believe anybody has an injury when they say that they're at this point in the season when they have a contract dispute. Terry McLaurin, I don't think that he has a hamstring. And I don't believe Alex Anzalone has a hamstring either. Yeah, exactly. So, but so Kenny, let me ask you this. No disrespect at all, but I have the 49ers finishing at the bottom of the division this year. CJ West is the real star of our draft. Okay. I'm going to keep an eye on him. Where do you think the Niners fall in the division this year? Because is Ayuk healthy? I don't remember. I'm just kind of looking at the Lions contract situation. Fake injuries keep them out of practices. Yeah, it's an unfortunate part of the sport. What else we got going on here? Got something we can talk about. 1 second. There's a lot of top units, Super Bowl odds, that kind of stuff going around right now. I might want to do a fantasy team this year. 12-5. Wow, that would be awesome. I would love 12-5. Who do you have your losses to? I'm curious. Where did you finish last year in the division? How'd you get a schedule like that? San Francisco 49ers. You finished third in the division. Rams, Cardinals, you guys, Seattle, 2024. Yeah, okay. Says Ayuk's still hurt here. You have the Rams finishing 11-6. I mean, health, that's a big part of it, right? As Lions fans can now attest. Let me just see what's going on in Consumer Sports. Okay, so this is not an articles-based site. My bad. www.33rdteam.com. Ooh, Kyle Krabs at a way too early 26 mocks. Let's do this. BA still hurt. Rams schedule is a little nasty. And they need Stafford to stay upright as well. That's true. 6-11 in 2024. Oh, that's a bummer. No fun. Add to stage. Click, make it bigger. Okay, let's see. Way too early 2026 mock. Cleveland Brown, take a look. QB Lenora Snellers, quarterback, South Carolina. If they are picking number one, they are picking a quarterback. Easy peasy. New Orleans Saints, Drew Aller, Penn State. That's where I expect him to go, basically. I like it. New York Giants, Peter Woods. Makes sense. Tennessee Titans, TJ Parker, Edge Clemson. I like it. Jets take Jordan Tyson. Wow, a wide receiver going fifth. Could see it. All right, Ikem Ekwonu. Oh, so this would be a placement for Tyler Moton. Francis Mauigoa. I'm going to go with Mauigoa. Vegas, the Vegas Raiders select Caleb Downs. I can't stand him. He went to Ohio State. Colts take Arch Manning, Texas. I have a hard time believing that if he declares he's going to be the eighth overall pick. Cleveland takes Caden Proctor. This makes a lot more sense. Their offensive line is in shambles. Patriots take Anthony Hill Jr. from Texas. Fine. I have a problem taking a linebacker at 10. That's fine. Seahawks take Takario Davis, corner from Washington. All right, we're just going to keep drafting defensive backs. That's Atlanta takes Jermod McCoy, corner Texas. Finally, someone to play across from A.J. Terrell. Makes sense. Cowboys take Caleb Banks, defensive lineman from Florida. Dolphins take Nick Harbor, wide receiver, South Carolina. This kid is unbelievable looking. He is enormous, and he is fast. I already have kind of a prospect crush on him. Cardinals take Denzel Boston, wide receiver from Washington. Okay. Pittsburgh takes Garrett Nussmeier. That makes a lot of sense. Bears take Ruben Bain. Makes a lot of sense. Denver takes C.J. Allen, linebacker from Georgia. Doesn't make much sense. Tampa Bay takes Kendrick Falk, edge from Auburn. Makes a lot of sense. Houston takes Danny Dennis Sutton, edge from Penn State. That's one of the guys I want. Minnesota takes Mansour Delane, which makes sense. They have almost no secondary players. Chargers take David Bailey, edge from Texas Tech. This is a kid to watch, David Bailey. He has got so much hype coming into this season, and like at Texas Tech, he might just blow up. If he puts up some big numbers, I mean, he might even be a Heisman candidate. I mean, that's the kind of stuff, that's the kind of hype that he's getting. Do you think Caleb and Jaden will both have sophomore slumps? Caleb and Jaden. I don't think Jaden will have a sophomore slump, and I have a hard time believing you have us losing to Washington and Philly. Well, if we finish 14-3, I'm happy losing to those teams. because that would mean we win on Thanksgiving and we sweep the division. So cool with me. There's no way that we're not winning the division, having swept all of the teams in the division and had 14 wins. So sign me up for that shit right now. Also, I don't think that we beat Baltimore. I think Philly's a terrible matchup for us. So the question mark for me there is Washington. And if Jaden does have a slump, I think then the Lions can win. I think that dude is set up for unbelievable success because he has so much poise that and like does not get rattled, that I think that it's going to be hard for him to slump. Yeah, I think Dan Campbell, like the level of preparation, his aggression when it comes to like game management makes up for a lot of the like, can they beat themselves? Like Jared usually has 2 or 3 bad games in a season, and so that usually costs us something. But I think Caleb is more likely to have a sophomore slump, but I don't think he will. Like I like the improvements that the Bears made on their offensive line into their defense in free agency. I thought they drafted very well. Ben Johnson seems to be kind of a hard ass for the first impressions I have coming out of camp and his media sessions. And then he obviously wants to coach Caleb Williams because he took the job in Chicago. Oh, you mentioned before I wanted to do a fantasy. Did you want to start one or did you want to join one? I mean, I am happy to join one. I've tried to start them in the past, and it's just I get so worn out unless everyone else wants to do it. Like I have such a hard time being in a fantasy league because I don't want to force other people to do something that I really, really want to do. So I guess I would just want to join one to answer your question. San Francisco takes Spencer Fano, tackle from Utah. I like that a lot. Green Bay takes Dalen Everett, cornerback, Georgia. Makes plays they're going to try and replace Jair Alexander. They like drafting defensive players. Commanders take LT Overton, pass rusher, makes sense. Bengals take Jeremiah Love. This is not a defender, so I hate it. I love the player. He has one of the greatest runs in college football. In their what are they calling it now? Their playoff game against Penn State, where he just refused to go down and like stretches out for that. That pick is accurate. Really need to snag one of those. Go to well next draft. I go well the first 2 picks. I mean, like I like the way that you guys attacked positions in this last year's draft. If you want to do that again, I'd be all for it. This needs to be a defender. They're just terrible in defense. The Rams take Cade Klubnik. I also think this makes sense. Matt's going into his 17th season. He's missing this week of training camp with a back issue. He's asked for more money each of the last 2 seasons. The Rams have not immediately given it to him when he's asked. I think there could be some contention there. And eventually you just need an exit plan. Kansas City takes Christian Miller, DL Georgia. Makes a lot of sense. Buffalo takes Jake Slaughter. This is the guy that I really wanted. Interior offensive lineman from Florida. Detroit takes Nick Anderson, wide receiver, LSU. This is interesting. So this is if we move on from Jameson Williams, having a big play field stretcher would be a shopping list after transferring to LSU. Anderson is looking to recapture his 2023 magic this year. So I agree that if they move on from Jameson Williams, replacing that dynamic with somebody who has good like field stretching speed, it would be, I think, a necessary thing for this offense. Baltimore takes Jarrell Jackson, defensive lineman, Florida State. Weird that they would take a defensive lineman. And Philly takes Davison Igbinison, corner from Ohio State. That makes sense. They've been revamping their secondary for a while now. I think those are some smart picks. I like Kyle Krabs pretty well. I read his stuff. Yeah. So hey, dude, let me see. How do I do anything? Let me see if I can bring up our Discord link. Are you on Discord? You should be on Discord. It's super good. Why don't I see it here? Yeah, there it is. Oh, I don't want to do that. Let's see. General. How do you invite? What is the? I left a link for a Sleeper Fantasy League, but I don't know that links don't always show up. I can email it to you if you email us in your description. Let me see. We have an email address here at the show. Let's. Yeah, I think. I'll post our. I think this is our show's Gmail or email address. We used to be called the Casual GM Podcast. We did like 60 or 70 shows under that name, and then we rebranded with the help of ChatGPT. So if you, I apologize, dude. I appreciate you sending me this link. Sleeper Fantasy League, but I know the links don't always show up. I can email you. Yeah, if you could, email it to that email address. I would really appreciate it. I would like to join some fantasy football league this year. I've always enjoyed playing fantasy football. All right, cool. All right, appreciate that, man. Thank you, Kenny. I'm glad you jumped on today. We'll have to do some more. Hey, man, we're always looking for somebody to do our 8-man mocks come NFL draft time, like in April. So if you wanted to like get in on that, we would love to have somebody with NFC West experience, and I would love it if someone would take the NFC West away from Mike, so we didn't talk about the Rams all the time. So just keep that in mind for 8 months from now, whatever, if your schedule allows, dude. So, all right. So I appreciate that. Thank you so much, man. All right, I know Kenny's still in chat, but we've got two people watching the show right now. So if anybody's got any questions they want answered here, I can open this up for any kind of questions about anything NFL related. So if you have something you want to throw in chat, I'll give you a minute to type it out. I know that like as I speak, it's not immediately happening where you guys are watching. There's kind of a lag or something. So, all right, cool, man. We'll let you know when I check out the email. I'll send you some contact information, and then we can just keep in touch. Okay. Let's see. I'll just do a quick check of like Twitter or something really quick. See if there's any breaking news that we should talk about. Quick check. What is going on in the news? JMO is trending. I've heard that Jameson Williams is looking excellent in John Morton's offense, and that they're going to do, they're going to do some different things with him this year, like especially like in the short game, which I'm here for because If that guy gets the ball in his hands anywhere on the field, he might just be gone. Yeah, that's just. I mean, he does put ice cream on his cheeseburgers, but like other than that, like I think the dude's a really good football player. I don't know. I mean, I couldn't believe that when I heard that he puts like an Oreo flurry on his cheeseburgers. I just think that that's gross. Will Gibbs have a bigger role this year, or will better than mayo in your coffee? That is just gross. I can't believe that Will Levis, who's quote also out for the year with a shoulder thing, I can't believe that he does that. That just makes me almost gag. It doesn't sound like it would taste like the warmness of the coffee is going to dissolve the mayo. So what? I mean, like, what? Why are you? I mean, why do mayo? That's just so gross. I just don't understand. I mean, this is just so weird. Will Gibbs have a bigger role this year, or will they give Stephen carries to Montgomery? I believe Jahmyr Gibbs is probably the better running back. I think that I certainly believe he's the more versatile player. I still maintain that David Montgomery is the more important running back to the Detroit Lions offense. And the reason I think that is, and no, I have heard a little butter is good in coffee. I don't agree. I'm not going to put butter in my, I've been drinking coffee since I was 16. I just turned 43 last week. So like, I've been drinking coffee for 27 years now. I'm not going to I just don't get it. Like, I just drink straight black coffee. I mean, every once in a while, I'll put some like hazelnut or like, what is that? French vanilla, like creamer or whatever, the stuff that you get like on your table at a diner. I'll put some of that in there to kind of make it just a little less bitter, if it's strong. But like, I mean, I just drink straight black coffee. I just think it's pretty good. So I think David Montgomery is important to the Detroit Lions offense for the following reason. The dude simply doesn't go backwards. You give him the ball, you put him behind the offensive line that the Lions have had now for several seasons. He is going to, oh dude, hot chocolate is so good. I gotta, props to you for being on that train. That makes a lot of sense. You are going to be in like 2nd and 6, 3rd and 2, a ton when you give David Montgomery carries. And when you have guys like Sam Laporta and Amon-Ra St. Brown also on the field, those guys are also good for like 4, 5, 6 yards, such a high percentage of the time that it just means that your offense continuously moves down the field, and like I do think the era of like long game, like quarter killing drives in the NFL is largely over, but because scoring quickly is just so valuable. But the amount of control that the Lions can put on a game when they can determine down and distance on such a simple thing is excellent. And like, and no shade to Jahmyr Gibbs, like the guy has also like he also lowers his pad level and will lay a hit on guys, but he is not the kind of running back that is always falling forward. I grew up watching Michigan football. I grew up watching a ton of running backs that run the ball like David Montgomery. No shade to Jahmyr Gibbs at all, but I love the way that David Montgomery runs. I do think that Gibbs is going to see an expanded role on offense. I just think it will be like from the receiving portion of the offense, and I'm here for it. Like if the Lions want to be the team in the NFL that runs 21 personnel the most this upcoming season, I'm here for it. Because and I said this earlier, not everybody was here for it, I don't believe, but like if you line up against most teams in 21 personnel, they have to play base. They have to play base defense. You cannot play nickel when someone is in 21 personnel. You just cannot, right? So if you line up and you have Montgomery and Gibbs in the backfield and Jared Goff walks to the line with either an option of what to call or some check that he'll have in his back pocket, and he takes a look at the defense and sees that they're in base and then motions Gibbs out to whatever side of the field they have the best matchup on. If it's man coverage, when you motion Gibbs out to whatever side and a linebacker goes with him, that's where you're going with the ball. And if they don't motion a guy out, then you either have one, it's zone clearly, and if you can just get him the ball in zone, he's going to make a guy miss, and that's the potential for a big play. And if they're playing their safeties back, because like that Vic Fangio nonsense that everybody loves to do in the NFL now, if they're playing their safeties back, you can motion Gibbs out, figure out where your matchup is, and then just check to a run and give the ball to David Montgomery, and it might be 4 or 5 yards, a huge chunk of the time. Like, I am so here for the Lions offense this season. I cannot wait. And if you had told me the Lions would be running 21 personnel, I would be like, no, I don't want it. If this was a year ago, and now I'm just here for it. Now I'm just like, yeah, let's run 21 personnel. Like, no one else in the NFL really wants to do this. I mean, the Lions are given credit for like running man coverage all the time on defense, but they only did it half the time. That just happened to lead the NFL. So if you wanted to run 21 personnel 25-30% of your plays, that might even be way too much, and then lead the NFL at that percentage, I'm still here for it. Because like if you run 5 or 6 plays a game, 6 or 7 plays a game out of that personnel package, like I just think that it's going to be a nightmare for opposing defenses to deal with, because you're either putting a linebacker on Gibbs and he's faster, so you're fucked, or you're going to play zone coverage against a run and you're fucked. So I mean, like, I really like the like ability to match up that the Detroit Lions offense has going into this. Monty, Gibbs, Ra, JMO, and Sam sweep handoff to anyone else. I mean, like, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. I think Detroit's going to be locked in 2025. Well, I mean, if I was them coming off the playoff loss to the Commanders, I would feel like that game was yours to lose and you lost it. Commanders played really well, and they had a great game plan, and they were in control of that game the whole time. But I still think, with everything the Lions dealt with, beating Minnesota to get the playoff spot, win the division, having a home playoff game, and then losing to, like, I think the Commanders were like the 7th seed, 8th seed. Like, that is a disappointment on your home field in front of your crowd who had supported you all season, traveled well for you, gotten loud for you. It's just really, really disappointing. I saw a graphic of ChatGPT simulating the 200 times. They had Baltimore win the Super Bowl 8 times and Bengals winning at 7, really. Chiefs winning at 17 times. Yeah, the Chiefs thing winning, it makes a lot of sense. Like, Patrick Mahomes is still Patrick Mahomes. The Eagles winning at 15 times, the Cowboys winning 9 times, the Lions winning 7 times, the Bills winning 10 times. The Cowboys winning at 9 times seems ridiculous to me. Seems absolutely ridiculous to me. But whatever. So if you rank those by Super Bowl wins, you would go Chiefs, Bills, Cowboys, Baltimore, and then the Bengals and Lions tied at 7. I just do not believe that the Bengals are in the Lions class. Like, and we are going to get to see that this year because the AFC North is on the Lions schedule. But, like, I think that the Lions beat the AFC North outside of Baltimore. I just do not respect Cincinnati's coaching or their defense. Joe Burrow's great. Jamar Chase is great. Higgins is great. Their offensive line's nothing to write home about. I mean, they are all in on what's his name? What's their quarterback? Joe. Why can I not Burrow? Oh my God. They are just all in on Joe Burrow throwing to those two guys. I mean, I like to think that I'm relatively smart, and like I just don't know how Cincinnati is anything other than Burrow to Chase, Burrow to Higgins. So, whatever. Sounds like they are using a heavyweight in teams with star players who make splash plays. There's a lot of logic there, even if it seems like the favorite Dallas can't account for their past season. Yeah, Detroit humiliated Dallas. That was a lot of fun. I really had a fun time. I watch that game when I'm depressed sometimes. It really perks me up. So, okay, we've been doing this for 75 minutes without Mike. I really appreciate Kenny and Brian bringing us home in the chat. We had Mike and Zakwa for a little bit earlier. Good to see that Mike is still alive and kicking. And always good to hear from Zakwa. Hope he's safe and everyone's going well for you and your guys and your families. It's hot in Michigan right now. I'm not sure exactly how. I assume it's hot everywhere in the country at this particular moment. So if it's hot where you are, stay cool, drink water. I'm going to check out that email, Kenny. I appreciate that. And we're going to see you guys next Tuesday, where hopefully we will have more good news from training camp. And I would love it personally if I got to talk about an Aiden Hutchinson contract extension this time next week. So let's get that under the wire before Micah Parsons signs his. So anyways, love talking to you guys. Love talking about football. We'll see you next week. Have a great rest of your week. Bye.